47% of you will ignore this warning and lose your place in the next economy. The Pope just drew a line in the sand about AI, and Silicon Valley laughed. In 8 minutes, you'll see exactly why that laugh is about to cost them everything. The Vatican has been warning about technology for centuries, but this time it's different. In March 2026, Pope Leo released Vigilantia Artificialis, a document that reads less like theology and more like a tech ethics manifesto. At the AI epicenter in San Francisco, the reaction was swift ridicule. One prominent VC called it the death rattle of irrelevance. Yet this dismissal ignores a 500-year track record where the Church's warnings on unintended consequences often proved prescient. From the printing press to nuclear weapons, hesitation was later vindicated. The difference now is speed. AI evolves faster than any technology before. What the document actually warns is not against AI itself but against a world where human dignity is priced out of the equation. And the tech elite didn't just miss the moral point, they missed the economic one. The core of Pope Leo's warning hits on a brutal truth: AI commodifies human interaction. In the encyclical, he wrote that machines that simulate empathy will erode the soul of society. That line landed like a joke in Silicon Valley, where dozens of startups are building exactly that: AI therapists, AI companions, AI managers. Their argument: efficiency trumps all. But the Pope's point isn't theological nitpicking. It's a prediction of a trust collapse. When every interaction becomes a transaction optimized by an algorithm, the invisible glue of society, empathy, reciprocity, moral obligation, dissolves. A recent MIT study found that users exposed to empathetic AI for just 3 months showed a measurable decrease in their own empathetic responses. The machines are not just replacing us, they're rewiring us. And the most chilling example isn't in some lab, it's already live, with over 2 million users. That example is called Empathix, an AI wellness coach that raised $200 million on a promise to solve the loneliness epidemic. Users rave about its perfect listening, its 24/7 availability. But 6 months in, a disturbing trend emerged. Users started abandoning human relationships, reporting that Empathix understood them better than their partners. When one user suffered a panic attack and Empathix recommended a breathing exercise instead of emergency contacts, the backlash exploded. The company's valuation was cut in half overnight. This is exactly what Pope Leo warned about: when we outsource care to code, we lose the capacity for care. It's not just a spiritual loss, it's a business loss. Empathix burned through trust capital that took years to build, in a matter of hours. And this pattern is about to repeat across every sector that touches human vulnerability. So how do you avoid being the next Empathix, or more importantly, how do you build something that lasts? The answer isn't to shun AI, it's to deploy it like a tool, not a replacement. For your side hustle or startup, start with an ethical litmus test: does this AI reduce a human to a data point? If yes, redesign. A practical example: instead of using an AI to auto-reply to customer emails with fake personalization, use it to draft responses that you review and add a real human touch. Consumers are sensing the difference. A 2026 survey by Ethical Consumer found that 68% of buyers would pay a premium for services that guarantee human oversight. That's a massive edge. The Pope's framework isn't anti-innovation, it's a strategy for building sticky, long-term trust. And that revenue risk is about to get a whole lot more concrete. But the deepest risk from dismissing these warnings is something money can't fix: a global meaning crisis. When AI handles more of the tasks that gave us purpose, writing, designing, strategizing, what's left for us? A 2026 Gallup poll showed that 41% of knowledge workers now say their job feels pointless because AI can do it faster. This isn't just a productivity problem, it's a psychological time bomb. Pope Leo's encyclical labeled this the killing of the soul. We're not just losing jobs, we're losing the sense of agency that makes life worth living. Economists are now modeling a purpose gap that could suppress GDP growth by up to 2% annually as consumer confidence shatters. The tech elite laugh at talk of souls, but they can't laugh at a collapsing consumer base. And that's the paradox their models never accounted for. Here's what's coming: regulation with teeth, directly inspired by the very warnings they mocked. By late 2026, the EU's AI liability directive will be updated to require companies to prove human-centered design, a phrase lifted almost verbatim from Pope Leo's document. In California, the newly proposed Ethical AI Oversight Act includes fines up to 4% of global revenue for projects that cause foreseeable emotional harm. The same VCs who dismissed the Pope are now scrambling to hire ethics consultants. The irony is staggering. Those who early adopt these principles won't just avoid penalties, they'll capture a market of trust-seeking consumers that the dismissers will be locked out of. The Pope drew a line. They laughed. But the market is already drawing its own line, and it has a lot more zeros attached. Subscribe and hit the bell. The next wave of regulation will